Starbucks competes in three main industry segments: retail coffee, retail food, and consumer merchandise. Today, they offer a variety of products at their stores, online, and in grocery stores. But that was much different in the beginning. Originally starting in the coffee and roasting and bean industry, they started venturing into the retail coffee industry and started teaching and serving coffee at their single store in Seattle. As time went on and Starbucks stores started popping up everywhere, new coffee drinks were introduced, including a frozen coffee drink famously known as the Frappuccino, which is actually a trademarked brand for Starbucks. Starbucks maintains its lead in quick service segment by achieving what most rivals couldn't. It focused on the rapidly changing preferences of its target customers and changed their brand based on that and what products they offer. Some examples are the introduction of dairy-free drinks and focusing on food items. In addition, they have branded consumer merchandise in each of their stores, which when used, customers receive a discount of 10 to 20 cents off a drink order. Their canned and bottled lines are also carried in many retail and convenience stores across the nation. There are many competitors that Starbucks faces today, but one of the largest are McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts. McDonald's first started its McCafe line in 1993, and customers can now find separate coffee shop-like counters in many of McDonald's newer or renovated stores around the world. This past December, McDonald's opened its first standalone McCafe in Toronto. The standalone McCafe is a fraction of the size of regular McDonald's and only serves the McCafe coffee menu items, which includes pastries and cafe-style sandwiches and salads. It also features the McCafe branding without the traditional McDonald's golden arches. Prices also are much cheaper here than at Starbucks. So there's something that Starbucks, as a competitor, needs to worry about, that they might be able to offer something to a different type of customer. In addition, since the late 1990s, Dunkin' Donuts started focusing rather than on a donut first, coffee second model to a coffee first, donut second model, which made a huge change in the success of their company. In 2006, when Dunkin' officially declared war against Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts introduced new drinks, richer product lines, higher quality coffee, and marketing strategies that changed a lot for them. The real focus of Dunkin' was providing the same type of product that Starbucks was offering while doing it at a lower price. They also relied on traditional marketing efforts compared to the word-of-mouth marketing that Starbucks does. Don't be fooled by the name. Coffee is a major industry for Dunkin' Donuts. Starbucks coffee faces the influence of the five forces as outlined in Porter's model. Starbucks coffee has a variety of challenges linked to these five forces. They face the moderate force of the threat of new entrants. In Starbucks coffee's case, external threats of new entrances can open up a new company, but it's very hard for them to compete against Starbucks' large brand. Battling against an established brand will be difficult even though the initial investment in renting space, leasing equipment, and starting a new company is relatively low. In regard to the threat of substitutes, this is very high, as there are many other options for consumers out there. The main thing is that switching cost is either non-existent or extremely low, which makes it easier for those to choose another option for their purchase. Another one that we may skip over is the fact that consumers can just make their own coffee at home for a mere fraction of the cost of a normal cup of joe at retail price. Starbucks, though, has a solution for that: branded K-Cups for Keurigs and their own premium coffee makers for at-home use. In regard to the bargaining power of buyers, it is somewhat moderate to low. Buyers are not going to be walking into Starbucks and tell the barista that they want their orange mocha frappuccino for $1.50 when it retails for $5.50. Maybe if a buyer was going to purchase 100 orange mocha frappuccinos, there might be a stronger buyer force, but this is something that just isn't realistically going to happen. Because consumers at Starbucks are low volume buyers, they do not have great buying force. Same goes for suppliers. Starbucks spreads its supply chain out, so if there's ever a problem with one supplier, they're still getting what they need from another. There are too many options for Starbucks to go to for suppliers to have great force. There is This is one of their lowest worries in the five forces model. And then we have competitive rivalry. This is the highest force, and it really is what Starbucks has to focus on. Being the largest and having the highest market share in their industry, they will always be pushed to introduce new things and stay ahead of the curve. As I keep saying, there's almost no switching cost between rivals, and there happens to be very few companies at the top that dominate this industry. So making sure that you do have competitiveness and new products out there is something that is key for Starbucks to focus on, as this is one of the highest forces within the Porter's five forces analysis.
SWOT analysis, strengths and weaknesses. So a major strength for Starbucks is that they control the entire supply chain from coffee bean selection all the way to serving its customers. This gives them great control over the quality of their coffee. They've also experienced tremendous growth rate at either 3 to 4 stores per day for many, many years. They know how to do it and are ready to keep growing at a fast rate going forward. Not only do they focus on high quality coffee, but Starbucks really emphasizes the experience that someone has. And they do this by catering to all five senses. When you walk in the door, the decor is picked in a very particular fashion. There's an aroma from the coffee. You listen to the music, which isn't common music that you hear on the radio, but usually something unique, a little bit different. And then there's a taste, of course, that's taken care of. And then you sit down to a soft, leather couch or chair and are able to, relax in their environment. So it's really overall experience that they cater to. Starbucks cares about their employees and customers, but regarding their employees, they have higher than average pay. They also offer benefits, leadership training opportunities, and even stock options. Another key part of it is they do believe they have part of the community and do allow philanthropy as well. Some weaknesses are that there's an anti-Starbucks campaign in person and online. In person, groups will assemble and protest certain stores, especially if it's located next to a local shop. And then online, there's this sentiment, to avoid them. Part of the reason is there's this distrust that some people have where they understand that Starbucks is publicly traded, and how can this company really care about all the people that it deals with when really it has to get money for the shareholders. So there's some distrust there that no matter what they say, you can't believe Starbucks. There's also some strain placed upon the coffee traders and local coffee shops who, according to some people, may not get the best deal of things because Starbucks is so big and so powerful. Also, Starbucks will cannibalize its own stores from time to time in order to just saturate the market, but that can be detrimental at times. SWOT, opportunities. Starbucks has experienced rapid growth in the past, and they're ready to use that same process to expand in China and multiply the number of stores they have quickly. They've also acquired some tea companies, Tasso and Tivana. So this enables them to offer greater tea products, along with a fruit juice company they acquired and a bakery. All of this so that they can expand their in-store offerings. They constantly make choices to establish itself as the third place. So this pertains to the idea where people have their home and they have work. There are two places where they go. Starbucks wants to be that third place where you can meet in a safe environment for meetings, get-togethers, to catch up. They've also expanded into trying to hit more of the evening market where they might try out some beer tastings and different more evening related features. There's a lack of funding spent on actual environment that they have, and instead they invest in their employees and let their employees create this great experience for all the customers. Some threats. There's local coffee shops that create their business in such a way that they're the anti-Starbucks. So for everyone that doesn't like Starbucks, the local shop, perfect option to go for them. China can be quite difficult for a lot of companies. Huge population, huge market, but it's different type of business over there. Not sure what the consumer will like, so it can be difficult for them to actually expand and thrive in that market. There's emergence of coffee pod systems where people are brewing more and more coffee at home. So if they're brewing at home, less likely to go somewhere like Starbucks to get their daily coffee. And also there's potential slowed future growth due to just animosity towards American brands. So like in the Middle East, for example, wouldn't be as ideal to grow because in a lot of places there's anti-American sentiment.
Starbucks Corporation has 58 people in their leadership team, with the key players being listed on this slide. The most important, however, is Chairman and CEO Howard Schultz. According to Starbucks.com, Howard Schultz earned a BA from Northern Michigan University. He spent 3 years in sales and marketing with Xerox Corporation, and was also the vice president and general manager of Hammerplast USA. In 1982, he moved from his native New York to join Starbucks as director of operations and marketing when the business had only 4 stores. In August 1987, he became CEO when he and a few local investors purchased Starbucks. From the beginning, Howard set out to build a better company. He believed in comprehensive healthcare coverage for eligible part-time and full-time employees, and offered employees equity in the company in the form of a stock. Howard didn't stop there, since he has launched an initiative to hire more military and their families, as well as help employees return to school with his Starbucks College Achievement Plan. Howard has led a transformation of the company, bringing the company to sustainable, profitable growth with a renewed focus on Starbucks coffee, heritage, innovation, and the customer experience. Howard has been recognized for his passion, leadership, and efforts, and has received many awards. He's the co-founder of Maverson LLC, the author of 3 books, and, along with his wife Sherry, he's the co-founder of the Schultz Family Foundation. External threats. Coffee pods are increasing their market share every year. In 2010, they took only 7.4%, and by the year 2015, they took a whopping 34.6%. When Starbucks realized the popularity of at-home single-serve cups of coffee, they wasted no time in coming up with an agreement with Keurig Green Mountain. Starbucks would now be able to offer their products in a pod for Keurig machines, and in return, they offered to sell Keurig brewers in their stores. Other external threats are the price of coffee beans are rising, as well as the labor wage rate is rising. And to combat that, Starbucks has recently increased the price of many of their products anywhere from 10 to 30 cents. They use this small increase to help combat the rising cost of labor and products they have to purchase. They claim that the average spending by a consumer per visit will only increase 1%, and that the majority of their drinks, 65% of them, the prices have not changed. This small increase has allowed for Starbucks to recoup any loss associated with purchasing the coffee beans, and has allowed for Starbucks employees to receive wage increases anywhere from 5 to 15%, depending on the market they work in.
Looking at the stocks for Starbucks, the price-to-earning ratio was 29.94. So this means that someone needs to invest almost $30 to get $1 return on their stock. This high PE ratio basically indicates that there is expected high growth rate in the future, just the percent return will be lower for the investor. But with this high PE ratio, it's expected for high future growth, which can be anticipated with the China expansion coming up. The volume has averaged around 8.5 million shares over the past year, with price not really varying much. There's been steady growth in the past, but over this last year, it's been a little more stagnant, probably because they've been working on, ironing out the China plans, and that could be a potential bust or a boom business. This dividend increased from 2014 at 0.55 to 0.6 in 2015 and 16. There's still aggressive growth plans, so this increase in dividends could be due to increased profits, which would be nice. The revenues and earnings per share are down from 2014, potentially because of the uncertainty going forward. Starbucks' competitive advantage starts with the idea where they can seek new markets and grow at a faster rate than other competition because of their experience in doing so. And when they go into a new market, they look to blend in with the existing culture in itself. So that helps it kind of blend in, be a little more natural, as opposed to just forcing its American brand onto other people. They have complete control over the entire supply chain process, so this enables them to control quality and also keep down prices where they can have higher margins that goes towards their employees. Other companies must pay for the markups at the various stages in regards to gathering the coffee beans. There's going to be benefits to entry because other places will need to figure out what is the look, what type of art, what kind of decor will they use, the music, things of that nature. Starbucks knows what they're going to do and where to look in the relative local market to blend in with it. Additionally, the idea where they pay their employees more makes the employees more willing to go to Starbucks than a local shop. And they also offer benefits, leadership opportunities, and even stock options as well. And so they will invest their money into the local economy to hire the locals and pay them not only a better wage, but the other benefits as well. And it's hard for other companies without the corporate structure of Starbucks to come in and pay someone at that rate where they're just trying to make it and try to get by out of the gate. There's also varying levels of power distance with managers in the store, but also this idea where the manager to employee relationship can be more flexible depending on the store itself. But then Starbucks also enables a calling system where they have a number that they can call into and express feedback that they have. There's also town hall style events as well, where they can feel it's not just one store where they're at, but they can have a bigger voice for the company as a whole. And so all of these things together enable Starbucks to thrive because they have the experience, they have the better margins when it comes to coffee, they can invest more in the employees and show more care towards the employees, whereas a new up-and-coming shop needs to just try to make some money, make some profit, perhaps pay back the loans that they had to take out to even start the business.
International markets. When Starbucks launches in a new country, they set out researching culture, history, and local tastes before partnering with local coffee companies and building stores which serve the needs of locals without compromising the signature brand. Starbucks has 18 centers around the world, design centers around the world. Each one works to understand what is considered normal, design speaking, in a country. For instance, Japanese Starbucks stores have special designs to keep with the Japanese tradition. Many of their stores have low roofs and often show allusions to its national religion, Shintoism, while other stores are built to resemble tea houses. Starbucks also offers local favorites like green tea frappuccinos and the cookie crumble with white pudding. In China, Starbucks has used marketing to help their brand. They increased prices, and people still love them. In China, holding a Starbucks cup is considered a status symbol. Starbucks also has made their stores larger due to the fact that Chinese like to go out in larger groups. In Saudi Arabia, because of the decency law concerning women, the Starbucks topless mermaid insignia would not go over well. So, to accommodate this culture, they changed their logo to a crown on waves. In France, Starbucks introduced the Viennese coffee and came out with a food line that was more suitable for the French palate. And in other parts of Europe, Starbucks has refocused its energy on mirroring local styles and honoring European history. In Amsterdam, for instance, they built a stage for poetry in a converted bank vault. In the United Kingdom, Starbucks has franchised out an increasing portion of its stores, emulating the independent coffee shops which are loved. And these are just some great examples of all of the countries they are in and how they are adapting to every culture and succeeding.